welcome back to the mini-series where I am going into all things about my 5-week trip in Africa, where I spent 4 of those weeks volunteering with animals. Today, we are talking about the general schedule, what I actually did day to day. The first program I did was in Namibia at an animal sanctuary. I would wake up personally around 6. I liked having a quiet morning. Breakfast was then served to us at 7, buffet style. You're then required to meet at 8 a.m. to go into your groups for the morning activity. These activities could be a baboon walk, food prep, carnivore feeding, cheetah walk, helping out at the local school, small animal feeding, carnivore cage cleaning, grass cutting, or helping to dig a trench. Now, all of these different activities range and they can end anywhere from 10 to 12. Lunch is then at 1, and then you meet again for your afternoon activity at 2:30, where you can do any of those above activities in the morning. The program is on roughly a 3-week schedule, so if you're there for 3 weeks, great, you get everything done. You do everything they have to offer. Afternoon activity then ends anywhere from 4 to 5. Dinner is then at 6. In between all of the activities, food, it's free time. You can do anything and everything you want. Personally, I took lots of naps, especially after the morning meeting. Now, that is just the schedule for Monday through Friday. Food time stays the same, except for breakfast. Breakfast, I believe, was then at 8 o'clock on weekends. However, you can still volunteer on the weekends if you so choose. Personally, I did. I loved going on a baboon walk, so that's where you would find me. They did offer very limited seats to then go into town, but you had to pay for it extra, where they would take you into town, take you to a mall, and that happened on Sunday. They also had a local service at their church that you can go to. They did also have a pool at each of the camps, so lots of people spent their time at the pool, tanning, sitting on the hammocks, reading. I read a lot while I was there. In South Africa, I was working on a private game reserve. Now, this schedule is very different from the schedule and even the activities that I was doing in Namibia. So we would wake up at 5 to then be in the car, ready to go for the day, 6:30. But it kind of depended on the ranger and what you were doing that day. But very strict about being in the car when they told you to be in the car. Now, I didn't mention the amount of people at each program. The program in Namibia had about 70 to 120 people, whereas the project in South Africa had about 15 of us total. Who cooked and who cleaned was on a rotation between the group members in South Africa, whereas in Namibia, we had staff that cooked and did their laundry for us. So breakfast was up to you if you wanted to eat before we went out at 6:30 or if you wanted to take it with you on the road. You then drove around until 11 or 12. We were doing a range of different things every day, some including tracking the animals, fixing camera traps, clearing trees out of the road that elephants have knocked over, identifying the genders of baby animals, or going on bushwalks. You then had lunch at some point midday during your free time. Then you planned to head out at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, where you would again do any of the activities that I mentioned earlier. The afternoon one was a little bit shorter, where we would then head back to camp at around 7. And you would have a nice little bonfire, sit around the fire, and eat dinner with everybody. That's a very quick breakdown of what I was doing day to day. Now, if you want to hear more about what I was doing in Namibia and South Africa, I talk all about it in season 3 of my podcast called Guess Where I Am. We're on all social media platforms. I also have one more episode in this mini series where I talk all about the after of volunteering in Africa.